Everybody, welcome to another episode of Ready Speaker. My name is Roland Rucci. I am your host, and today we'll be speaking about the series on HBO, White Lotus, Season 1 and Season 2. I'm just going to put it in one episode. It shouldn't be too long. Big thumbs up, I think, for both. I think it's been very, very popular. It's a very popular series. People are talking about it. It's got some buzz, some elements to it that are kind of interesting. I'm going to go with Season 1, actually, and talk about it really quick. I'm also going to play the trailer here once I get it going, and just really talk about what we see and how things are, and kind of interesting. So the premise is that White Lotus is a resort franchise organization, hotel organization, not franchise, hotel organization, and what happens in a week of drama of this very elite. Oh, here it is. Here it goes. And it's an elite hotel group, and the first one is set in Hawaii, and it's with a bunch of couples, very wealthy. A lot of people a lot of people bringing their personal baggage along, and I think that's where the idea is. Overall, this is a series about horrible people who happen to have money, and people who can associate with them. You have the rich couple with the powerful wife who does really well, and her husband who feels a little inadequate, their daughter who is a constant pain in the ass and saying things, their awkward son, and the daughter's friend who tags along. You have a newlywed couple, and it's again a very rich family. The wife she finds out she's a trophy wife through the first season, and how she feels about that. And you have the wealthy widow woman who just comes in there and wants everything at her whim and to move things along. And it's just really kind of an interesting thing, as well as the manager of the hotel. So you're seeing both things. It's not like Fantasy Island or any other show where you're not really seeing what's going on with the families, or I mean the staff at these hotels. It's not like a Love Boat where it's too dramatic, but it's kind of interesting the way it plays out. This series, I think his name's Michael White, is the showrunner for this. Let me just double check here. I believe it's Michael White, and Mike White, and he's told an interesting story. The interesting thing with the first season is that he didn't think there would be a second season, so it was really just a mini series, and it's a one-off, and you're done. And it plays like that, where you have these great couples who come in, and I think Jennifer Coolidge is in season 1. She has a lot of history from that. There's a lot of Zane is from season 2, season 1 also. We have a lot of people on here. And right now they're talking about season 2 because we're in season 2. But I think the interesting thing about this story, or the story that's being told with this series, and what really grabs you, is again that they're kind of horrible people, and they're not really seeing how their choices, which benefit them, probably long term, not just short term, but long term, and how they have to make these choices so they can keep benefiting themselves and keep themselves in a certain status, certain place going forward. You have the wealthy couple who feel Mossbacker, so it's Connie Britton and Mr. Zan, and I always remember that because his name means teeth in German, and I speak German, so a little for me. Well, I used to speak German. I don't know if I really speak it that well anymore, but hearing that, hearing them as a couple come in is kind of interesting. And the kids, the thing I think that really stands out about this family is the daughter is such she's so obnoxious, and her friend, how critical they are of everybody, and it's kind of weird. And they have the brother who is awkward, and she makes him even more awkward. And the top, what I found unusual was with every character is the very open dialogue of one, masturbation, sexuality, both implied and spoken. There's a lot of tension going on with people and roles where they are. I think that's the real kicker of the season 1 is where people's roles are and how you sort of fit in society and how you move forward. And I think that's what makes it really, really interesting. The other thing is they do a wonderful job with the music in season 1, and they play a lot of Hawaiian music or Hawaiian artist music, and They really do a great job of keeping the tension up and keeping the emotion level at a certain pace until you get to the sixth episode, and it just goes bonkers. There's also a movement. There's so much movement in this show. It's beautifully shot. The locations are beautiful. So I think Mike White did a great job of conceiving this and seeing how this should be. I don't know if there's source material or it just came to him, but it is kind of really interesting how you see the families and the hotel manager struggling and just trying to find their place. Everyone's sort of lying in some way about themselves and where they are, and they all want something out of other people. And in the end, I think they all sort of give up something to be where they want to be in their life. Some people make some really not unusual choices, but strong choices. And I'm not going to put any spoilers on this. And then you have some people who commit to the choice they made. Now they understand what they were actually choosing. And that's, well, the trophy wife. She struggles with the fact of her husband being very wealthy, coming from a very wealthy family that's a dominant family. And she's like, hey, what am I bringing to the table? I want my freedom. Well, she sort of expressed it, I think, halfway through, that it was fun because this guy came in, she came from a breakup, and she was able to access things she never could really access before. I think that sort of sunk in. Her verbalizing that was very interesting, and trying to be with the staff, and great job with that. Really good job with that. And then you have Miss Coolidge, who does a great job with her character, and it's sort of somebody you all know, and she really brings it around. And it's a side character. It's a peripheral story. It's not one of the main moving stories. They sort of intertwine and overlap. They sort of she's there for some comedy. She has a really good time. She has a personality that she brings to all of her productions that she works on, and it's kind of interesting. I definitely give it a watch. I binged it in one night. I know it's like about 6 hours, but I binged it in one night, and then immediately I went to season 2. It came out, so I binged that also in one night. That's 7 episodes, and that is with F. Murray Abraham. You have Tom Holland. You have Michael Imperioli. You have Aubrey Plaza. You have Will Sharp. You have so many people who are really amazing in season 2. You have Theo James. You have Haley Lou Richardson. You have Simona Tabasco, I think it's her name. She plays Lucia Greco, which is a real anchor, I think, to the whole season. The sort of her path, and she's with one of her I forget who is her other Beatrice Grano. So very interesting season. This one is set in Italy. It's a totally different story. Coolidge is back. She continues sort of her story. And this is an interesting thing from season 1. Season 1 was thought to be one season, and that was it. Miniseries, they were gonna exit the series and move on to other projects. They wanted another season. They built a story on the little bit of details from season 1 and a little bit of dialogue. So I don't know if they had an idea that they may continue into a bigger world, but they really made a world for her, and she became the anchor of this season as well. So you have these two dynamic stories moving forward, and these people pushing these along. I will also say that there's a lot of attractive people in this. It's a lot of eye candy in good ways. I'm not saying in a bad way. I'm saying they really casting people of very unique looks, very looks that are appealing. There's a lot of sex in it. This is not something you want to watch with your kids. So there's frontal nudity, male and female, a lot of boobage, and the little guys are going, hey, frontal nudity, great, I want to see boobs. You see boobs, but you see some man junk too. So you have to be okay with the strong sexuality and showing strong tone. Again, this season shows that people are very good about speaking about sexuality, intimacy, and bringing things forward. They really have dialogues about it, and it's humor, and it's jabs, and it's broken relationships. It's all of that, and I think it's kind of interesting. F. Murray Abraham is amazing in it. I just love the way he delivers a line. I really do. He just does this great bit. This one also, going back to the theme, I guess, of horrible people from season 1, season 2 is horrible people. It's people going through, discarding people, pulling people in, grifting people. This one is really about a grift. Some of the stuff is really, easy to sort of see coming. There's a lot of flags, a lot of indicators along this storyline, which if you're watching and listening, it sort of makes sense of how things go crazy. What I do like about Mike White here as well is that he allows characters to suffer, characters to move on, characters that maybe not get closure, and that's okay. And that's something that you saw early parts of Game of Thrones and other HBO premiere stuff. I mean, other series like that. They're not afraid to move some characters along and for the story, not for the sake of the character. And they got some work and great. They did a great job. I think it's a very, very interesting series. I don't know. It doesn't pick up the pacing of the first one. They also have amazing, amazing soundtrack. I think with a lot of Italian influenced music, really, really interesting stuff. It has a certain swagger and sex appeal that Hawaii didn't have. Hawaii was from season one was more a vacation spot and a place for the rich people to frolic. This has some sort of a lot of sexual tension in it, and it has a swagger and sex appeal that is represented by Italy and the Italian culture, and at least as an American, as I see it. And it has that going through the whole thing, and it's really, really interesting. Definitely watch it. Maybe you won't binge it. I definitely binged it. I couldn't, after episode 5, I was like, no, we're going to watch it. And we just ended up watching 2 more hours of it. So, great show, great lighting, great music, great tempo, pretty people, in a good way, very unique, strong characters. And I think everyone did their homework. I think everyone brought something to their characters, be it humorous, be it sexual, be it devious, be it lost. There's a lot of, like I said, there's a lot of implied sexuality, a lot of spoken sexuality. There's people having all kinds of sex, and you have to be comfortable with that. I think you should be comfortable with that, and I think because it's really good storytelling, and I think that's the difference between something that's gratuitous. I never felt anything was gratuitous. I thought it was really good storytelling, and there were moments that I think it had to be there so you understood how the characters were feeling, and that's a rare thing. I rarely say that. I think most nudity is gratuitous or sex scenes are gratuitous, and we don't need to really see them. I think these, and here there are moments you didn't see them. So these are choices. I will say in season 2, almost every beach shot is a thong walking by at some point, and every shot is planned. We know that. So it's kind of funny how they're pushing that sexuality really strongly in this one. So give it a watch. These are both thumbs up for me. I think they're interesting. I think they're binge worthy. Not all shows are. I think the tempo on this took a while to get there. That grind took a while to get there, but when it did, it really picked up speed, especially the last 3 or 4 episodes, and it really grabbed you. And nothing there is by chance. So that's my one spoiler. Everything that happens in this episode is not by chance, and more than likely, if you're thinking somebody's being devious, they're probably being devious. So enjoy it. Come on the show, listen to my podcast, subscribe. If you want to talk about more shows like this, please do. Like I said, come on. I know you said come on the show, but come on the show. I need people to come and talk to me about these things, and I'd love to have a nice sit down with someone and have a conversation and say, let's talk about this show and compare and say why we like it, why we didn't like it. And I think that'll bring up things. There's good chemistry, I think, in both. So yeah, there's good chemistry. Enjoy it, watch it, enjoy it, talk about it. Talk soon. Come back to my channel again. The way I leave my show now with my episodes is that I had a rough year. 2022 was very, very rough for me. I am crawling my way back into a normal life, and every day that I finish a day, I'm happy, and every day I get a chance to start a new day, I'm happy. So that's how I'm looking at life. That's what I've been doing, trying to be positive. And I know we live in a world right now where there's a lot of things going on. So dialogue, experiencing new things is great, and that's what this show is. I'm pointing to the IMDb with a list of all these wonderful actors, and maybe I'll pop up something for these. But there are so many wonderful actors here, and I think they all did their homework. I know I've used that line before. They all bring some element to the story that no one else can probably bring. I don't know if anybody else could play some of these characters. And that's it. So great. Thanks, everybody. Bye.